All right, Kiza, let's smash it.
You know who got absolutely rinsed on the weekend? Sia got rinsed.
Twice.
Yes.
Yes.
That,
Carry and the hit.
Spindayashvili. No.
Pandayashvili.
It wasn't him.
It was Ilyas Pandayashvili.
It wasn't the 8 man. It was a 6.
Nyananashvili.
Niniashvili was a fullback. Luca. It was Luca.
Yeah, Nyananashvili. I'll get his name.
Ilyas Spindayashvili was the 8 man.
Dat was hy.
Yeah. Nuh-uh. It
Was hy nummer 6?
Ivianashvili.
Ivianashvili.
Yeah, not Nyananashvili.
You sound like coming back from the jaw. 2 o'clock in the morning.
Let's go.
Let's go. Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Verdict. The Junior Boks are world champions, beating New Zealand 23-15 in that final. We are now the champions in most things when it comes to rugby. Under 20s, 7s, and also back-to-back world champions in the 15s. So it's a good time for South African rugby. The Senior Boks beat Georgia quite convincingly at the end, but they put up quite a fight, the Georgians. And the first test between the Lions and Australia not looking great. So the Lions winning that one, 2 to go. So the series is off. 1-0 to the Lions. What will happen in Test Match 2 and Test Match 3? We will be covering all of those games. And I am back with my boys.
Hey, Sonny.
Schalk and Shimmy, welcome back, guys.
Good to be back. Nelspruit was good. I mean,
It was.
we got the long lunch on the Friday.
No, you did the long lunch. I only got in on Saturday.
You were also invited to the long lunch, so were you. I've got connections in Nelspruit now. But yeah, good people out there. And also the excitement, I think, for the Boks going there is good. I think the All Blacks come here for 6 weeks or 6 games next year. Hopefully one of them is in Nelspruit.
It's the stadium that fills up the earliest.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's warming up. Normally the people sort of filter in there. Everyone's sitting on their seats hour before. I know they drink it dry in most dams, but the absolute energy in that, like Port Elizabeth was outstanding. Next to that is Mbombela, Nelspruit. That place fires up on a Saturday.
It's actually interesting you guys mentioned that now because you didn't see the script, but you know, for me also, Pretoria was great. Well, we started off in Cape Town with the Barbarians, even though it was wet. You know, always nice doing a Barbers game. Pretoria was great. P was great. Mbombela this weekend. Now, for those that cannot go to games, you might not be able to afford the ticket to go to the game, but you want to, you know, be part of that experience. We've got the colasouthafrica Boktown that's going throughout the country across 10 different cities this season. And the next one up for the game between South Africa and the Wallabies on the 16th of August in Nelspruit.
Okay.
Boktown in Nelspruit, 16th of August. Beer garden, live performances, huge screens, food stalls, legends panels, and
Good weather.
And good weather.
I think we might have to give Donnie Rousseau the heads up.
Well, he can be the panel leader.
100%. Yeah.
You can buy your tickets on Howler, and it's $80. It starts as $80 to get in Boktown, be part of it all, and I think it's a great initiative by colasouthafrica.
No, definitely. Look, I think obviously not everyone can travel to every test match or get tickets. But I think you look at Mbombela, the weather there is fantastic. So it's good out there. I mean, even the Friday afternoon as you land there, it feels like you're in a different country.
That does.
That's it. You're coming from Cape Town, obviously the weather there. But the weather's always good. People are friendly. And they love the Springboks, like the rest of the country do at the moment. So get there, get to the Boktown and enjoy it.
Because there's a lot been said about you know, the ticket prices, and I suppose it's a kind of debate that that we don't want to go into, and certainly Nick Mallett doesn't want to go into it.
We're learning from Nick. Yeah. We can't
but I mean,
go into it.
it's that balance between, you know, you're running a business, supply demand. You know, what can you? But also then being able to say, okay, to all the people of South Africa, we want to make it accessible. This extends that a little bit, where you can be part of that experience. You're not at the stadium, but you still get that vibe.
That's expensive. You take a family, like on the weekend, now you're in Mbombela, flight from there to Cape Town is expensive, so there's not a chance that you can really fly down, come watch them down in Cape Town, but you can do it there.
Yeah.
In the colasouthafrica Boktown.
Look, it's a South African concept, the whole Boktown theme. I mean, you go to England, people complain about the prices at Twickenham. So it's not a South African problem per se, the ticket prices, you know. But the reality is you still got an opportunity to watch it, enjoy the environment with South African fans. And, you know.
And it's something that's like relaunched, you know, like when we started 2003. Boktown was massive. We had one in Perth. John got injured just before the World Cup. Stock standard for him, a World Cup year. But then him and Gubani Bobo, him and Gubani,
22 years later, too soon.
him and Bobes travelled across, and they basically just lived in the Boktown. Yeah. And I went to visit them 1 or 2 nights, you know, when I wasn't picked for the Boks.
Yeah, and I think Castle might be taking this abroad as well in the future. So yeah, let's see. Yeah.
No, they have to.
I'll put my.
They have to.
Yeah. Why just do
they have to. You go. I mean, I went to all the away tests last year. Australia's like a home game for South Africans. First of all, New Zealand's pretty much similar. Remember Mount Smart's colour? When we got there nice and early, it was just green jerseys.
Especially in Auckland. You know, that whole North Harbour fires up for it.
Yeah, exactly. In South Africa, then in the UK, well, you don't have to ask about that. We know how many South Africans are there.
Yeah.
So we're up for it. Thank you, Castle. Thanks.
Thank you very much. We'll go. We're available that weekend. Yeah. You mentioned Australia. First test match, guys. Australia versus the Lions. You know, talk about selling out. I mean, this is a big thing. Once every 12 years in a specific country, Australia, New Zealand and South Africa. Did this one live up to, hey, we're a bit fast there. Did this one live up to the expectations? You know, for me, is it surprisingly, is it a surprise that Australia was so
underwhelming?
Underwhelming and not competitive in the first half. I mean, check that first hit.
I mean, Curry was exceptional. I think if there was one selection, you know, query you had is like Jack Morgan's stats before on tour was way better than Curry. They pick him at open side flank, and he led the physicality for the Lions. You know, ironically, we'll see afterwards. You see the Australians team talk afterwards, and you see Will Skelton, Rob Valentini, Taniela Tupou. Yeah. You think if you're lacking in physicality,
Sam Kerevi not there.
Kerevi, those guys, experienced players, and they are going to lead the physical charge against the Lions. So I think physically they got outdone. Look, the Lions side's a proper side, and credit to Australia for hanging tough. But to be honest, you know, the game was well out of their reach after, you know, the first 40. That 122 entry, and that's Max Jorgensen's try, where the Lions had multiple 22 entries. Gibson Park again, exceptional, and Finn Russell. How's that ball off the left?
Yeah.
It just, sorry, you go, Shams.
Yeah, and this is the spiritual. The reason they had this taste there, because Australia are meant to be difficult to beat. Now, if you go back a year ago, we thought, okay, Springboks beat Australia easily away from home. And then All Blacks were always going to win. Argentina, so it was like, where's Australia next win going to go? They beat England. Then everyone started creating this hope that, shucks, they could do it against the Lions, competitive against Ireland also. But this is exactly the nightmare that people didn't want to see, a Lions trip where the British and Irish Lions just basically run through Australia and go through unbeaten. At the moment, if Joe Schmidt, look, you ask, Corin Betty would have made a difference, yes. Kerevi, yes. Valentini, yes. Taniela Tupou, yes. Angus Bell was good when he came on. Yeah. At least there's a bit of a hard edge. You know, you think about it now. But the Fly-Off now playing in Japan.
Foley.
Bernard Foley's got experience. O'Connor comes off the bench. Then it's a different looking Australian team. This, unfortunately, the second test, if the Lions improve and Australia improve, it's a victory for the Lions.
Because it went to 24-5, and this is obviously the only time that Australia scored points. You know, early in the second half, it was 24-5. They never looked threatening in terms of their attack.
No, they played some decent shape, but they didn't have any go forward. And this is sort of the theme. You look at this. Dan Sheehan was exceptional again. The one highlight for me was Max Jorgensen on the right wing, the one who scored the try there. He was exceptional every time he touched the ball. It looked like something was going to happen. But yeah, the Lions.
That's just too easy, isn't it?
The Lions, and there's our man Curry, who was leading the charge. He was exceptional, as I mentioned, especially in the contact points. But yeah, if you're losing the collisions in these big games, you're in trouble. And we love Suncorp, a great stadium. We as the Boks always had a hard time until the Boks convincingly thumped them there. But this is a quality side, and the options. There's Curry again with a try. There's Sheehan, as I mentioned, but it's all around the axis of Gibson Park, and then you add in Finn Russell. Proper players.
Because I think I said it, I can't remember if it was on one of the shows or whether it was on Supersport itself. Gibson Park for me has been quiet in terms of this
the whole tour, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of mistakes, things you don't usually see from him. But I mean, they were on song on the weekend, and him and Finn Russell, the ability to make the right decisions as the decision makers in the team and really leading, the pack. They were good on the weekend.
And they were also the Lions were disappointed with their performance, and it's still a win. But you ask yourself, where can Australia put this Lions team under pressure? Not in scrums, not in the mauling, definitely not in the contact areas. Trying to line out, not really. I can't see an area where Australia, you could say...
There's not a skill set difference where they can't put them with a skill set.
Yeah.
And like what it was encouraging for the Lions was obviously, yes, they got gain line, but they weren't different to what they played week in, week out.
Yeah.
They played that link-up play, offloads, trying to stay on top of the ball. And like that carries 5 metre over the gain line. That gives Gibson Park front football. James Lowe fronts up. He was, again, a handful. And, it's just
dropping off.
easy dropping off tackles. And the issue with the Wallabies side, you think, is, too many inexperience in big positions. Like you think, obviously, it was unlucky that Lolo Lucio at 10 got changed. Nothing against lineup playing. But then Champion de Crespigny plays his first test match as a blindside flanker.
Yeah.
He put himself about, but there's where you want serious experience going, like, listen,
want some hard men there, yeah.
Tom Curry, I'm coming around the corner. Can you put me away, yes or no?
Yeah.
And if you had a Valentini coming around the corner, the answer is no. He's gonna keep Curry busy.
This was essentially a big penalty in the context of the game, because you could see they considered doing the tap and go and going for the try, which would have blown Australia away then. But the fact that they got the 3 points, towards the end of the game, where they had the 8-point difference compared to, being less than 8 and 1 score away, kind of made the difference at the end.
Yeah. Also, I mean, Jean, at this stage, you're sort of happy for Australia that they're coming close or whatever it is. Remember, we were watching it. We're like, it's going to be 45, maybe 12 or 13 or something like that.
It looked like it.
It looked like it.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out how the hell was it not more?
Yeah.
And that was Lions' discipline.
Yeah.
They allowed so many 22 entries. This is off the back of multiple Lions penalties. So, like, if you, the Lions, you want to sharpen up on that, you don't want to take away from your intensity, but your breakdown accuracy in defence, they fronted up, but they just conceded so many penalties. And we almost see the same in the Boks game at the moment, where there's a lot of penalties going against them and sort of small handling errors, and then a set piece doesn't quite function. And like Georgia later on, like they had a proper start to the game because of the Boks inaccuracy.
He was good, Tate McDermott, when he came on.
Also more experience.
Yeah. Adds energy. That's he's the spark good.
And a bit of tempo.
Yeah, he's good scrum off on the bench. He's got the eye for a gap. He's explosive over 10 meters. So he's perfect for that though. But also when you come on just to rescue a game the whole time, it does make it a bit difficult. And obviously here now, this is just desperation time here. That has been questioned now.
No, exactly.
Yeah, that's been questioned. Like, is it the right mentality there? Take the ball up, at least try come out with a, try
get closer.
Try get closer or something.
Yeah.
So it says a lot about the psychology at the moment.
And do you think that was it? Was the attitude from Australia, psychologically, was it, okay, let's see how close we can get it rather than really believing that you can win it?
Yeah, it's not the Australian way, is it?
You hope not.
I hope not, yeah.
Because then the second test match will go against them. So I can't believe that was it. Look, I mean, also I looked at that and I was like, I wouldn't kick it there if I was Wilson. I would just, I'm captain, I'll truck it up.
And
if someone wants to kick it out or we concede a try, so what? We gave it our all. So I think, you've got to have a bit more fight than that. But the game was done. They're never winning it. So, maybe, that end score flatters Australia a bit, and maybe that gives them an extra relief for this weekend. I don't know.
So let's talk selections for game 2. Game
Australian,
2, in Melbourne.
So you got
100,000 people.
Yeah.
Bell's got to start, I think.
So let's start with Australia. So firstly, when we looked at that Australian team, and you've got Jake Gordon at 9 and Tom Liner at 10, with all due respect, is that a combination, 9-10 combination, your drivers in your team, that's going to give you a victory in a Lions series?
Well, I don't think so, but definitely if you don't get gain line.
Yeah, then there's no
Even
chance.
less.
There's no chance.
So, like, I think they both need players, and they're running a Joe Smith style, which is like what we come accustomed to Ireland run, similar to the British and Irish Lions, but that's based off the back of gain line. If you don't get gain line, you're static and you're passing it, you're getting caught behind the gain line. Your decision making then suffers because of it, and you feel the whole time like, okay, there's a red wall in front of you. So I think you've got to change up front. But if you're Joe Schmidt, he goes with this first test team. He doesn't change it. I think he believes in these players. Must be. That's why they're selected. If
So you don't see changes.
if
for
if
test
it's
team?
me, I go look at Skelton, even if it's starting or 40 or coming off the bench 20. You bring Valentini for gain line because last year in November he was exceptional. He was their player.
I think those two were injuries.
concerns.
Yeah, concerns.
Bell starts though, surely.
Bell
Starts
starts.
in the front row.
If Tupou's available, Tupou's got to play.
On the bench, or somewhere there.
Then you've got
Where's Salakai?
Lotto.
Lotto.
Salakai
He was
Lotto.
playing for the Anzac team.
So why is he not in
So
the?
he must be involved because you need bodies, types to challenge the lines. Go like gain line you had last week, you don't have it this week. You know, it's a different game than if you go into game management, start kicking it, you lose that rhythm instantly.
Because the Lions came with massive line speed.
Yeah, I don't know if they can change much in the back line, to be honest. I don't think there's
White?
availability. Nick White can come in. Maybe you start with McDermott for the snipe.
Yeah.
Keep them busy. Because if you're playing against line speed, the one area where you can attack is close to the ruck.
Yeah.
You know, make those rucks dynamic. Keep it tight. But you need body types to go through the guts, and they didn't have it on the weekend.
And it felt to me, you have like a Swali'i, they're phenomenal player, but you can't just expect to pass the ball to him
and he must do
make
everything.
magic.
Yeah.
You know, you need to have the players out the back. You need to have that kind of bodies in motion to attract the eyes of the defenders and get the one-on-one opportunities, which I just felt they didn't get. Stephen Jones writes that the Australian opposition has been woeful the whole tour, and in future they should play Fiji and Samoa as warm-up games rather than the Aussie domestic teams.
Yeah, that's quite controversial, but that's Stephen Jones. He loves that type of story.
Look, when the Lions came here, it's not like they ran through our provincial teams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't it was close.
I actually think that's quite hard done. Was it the Waratahs who ran them quite close?
Yeah.
Waratahs was really good. And most of those games, the first 40 was quite tight. You know, it's just.
So let's move
the first
to the Lions team then. Any changes we see happening there?
Why would you? What?
No.
Nah. You can't really think of someone that
Didn't
play.
perform,
Yeah, that didn't perform. Or
Genge was exceptional at loose head.
He was.
Genge was good.
Genge,
Sheehan was good.
Furlong carried.
Furlong good with the carries.
Furlong was good.
Toji worked hard. Byrne was good.
Byrne got
McCarthy,
man of the match at
McCarthy, maybe question mark. Maybe.
But what then? Then you move Byrne to lock, or
I
do you
think
bring in
Byrne-
Chisholm?
Chisholm, maybe?
Look, whatever we question of their selection,
we were thinking 7, 8, 6 might be, but
Yeah.
then Conan was good.
Yeah.
Just worked his socks off. Ben All comes off the bench. You know, like he adds
Yeah.
a nice dynamic off the bench.
Yeah, I think if they wrap it, it probably won't change. If they wrap it up, though, I think they might make changes for the
Yeah, I
last
think
test.
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
So next test match, pretty much the same team, same starting 15 for.
Yeah. Look, I would love for Australia to win this next test, but I just don't. You question unless once we see the teams, then you can sort of say, okay, maybe something's happening.
Yeah.
But if they go with like for like now, I just don't see how Australia can win.
Come on, Australia.
Come on, man, excite us. Give us,
Yeah, like
give us something. Give us something
I want
to
to decide because then anything can happen.
You do.
But
Yeah.
Like,
That is
for me, you make wholesale changes because it's your one shot for the Australian
Yeah.
side.
And
It's a pity, though, man.
did Rassi back in 2021? There was a couple of changes for Test 2, wasn't there?
I know Morne Steyn came on the bench for the last.
There was a few changes.
There was a couple of changes.
So I mean, it all adds to the
To the
mystery
intrigue. Yeah,
and
you want a Lions
and
series.
the
I
history of
can't,
the
I
line.
can't see as much drama as, like when it was back then with, refereeing and videos like we did in 2021 with Rasta. And
Are you saying Rassi's controversial or?
there was a lot of drama. and we're doing it behind closed doors. Like I remember after the first test match, whenever there was a big tackle, we were screaming in the crowds and the Super Sport people actually said, quieten it down because they can pick us up over. How weird was
Strange
that?
series. I remember, was it at your house after the first test?
Yes.
And we all became experts in rugby. Till 5 in the morning.
Till 5 in the morning. Yeah.
Cool, guys. Let's have a quick break. When we come back, we'll do the under-20s and then also rip into the Springbok performance against Georgia.
Cody from Paul has sold multiple vehicles to We Buy Cars. Suspicious? I think so.
Is that a crime?
No. Where are you getting the cars?
I buy them and I sell them at the spot like a normal person.
Okay.
No, man, I'm just an accounting student. I know a good deal when I see one.
That's Excel meant. What's more stressful, tax season or selling a car at We Buy Cars?
Tax season, obviously.
We Buy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
Our Baby Boks are champions again, the first time in 13 years that they've won the under-20s World Cup. Before we get into the game itself and some of the stars that we've seen there and the fantastic tries scored, so 23-15 win. Mm-hmm. Their captain, Riley Norton, last year was still playing under-19 cricket for South Africa. Now captaining the Baby Boks to a victory. Who was the last player that could have done something like that? Herschel Gibbs,
Herschel
maybe?
Gibbs, maybe.
Yeah.
Conrad Yankees.
Oh, yeah, Connie.
Connie did both.
Yeah. Connie played SA schools cricket, rugby, and soccer.
And football, yeah.
And some people make bad decisions. He could have gone to Chelsea. He decided to stay and play for the Lions.
No, he loved his rugby. That also means you should have been playing for Chelsea.
Yeah, did he go for trials at Chelsea or?
Yeah. That's impressive. But I loved the performance most of all.
No, it was great.
20s. It was like Bok DNA through and through.
Yeah.
Kevin Foot.
Yeah, well done to Footy. He's done.
Yeah, the new coach.
Yeah. But I tell you what, though, they ripped through this tournament. If you think about it,
they did.
70
against Australia,
and then also Scotland. They got
50 or 60 odd.
Yeah, they've thrashed
Argentina
everyone.
48-24 in the semi-final.
I mean, there's some stat that they scored 50 points more than any other team. 50 points more than any other team. And you talk about South African rugby, you talk about the maul, the scrum. But I mean, this team, can attack properly.
We'll look at the highlights now of the game, but just a couple of individuals. Hashim Pitt, the box scrum off. He's been compared to Antoine Dupont now, and in fact broke his 9-year record for most meters by a scrum off in this tournament. I mean, that's a proper stat to have against a guy that's done relatively well on the international
He's
circuit.
like a Grant Williams type of lookalike. Hey? He's got some proper gas. You know, they run that cheat line on the inside, but also have a little go. Have a go. He scored the try of the season, I think. Against England, like a cracker from his own 22.
But so many proper, really exciting players. I think the state that South African rugby is in currently, the fact that we are on top from a seniors team point of view, but having these youngsters in the pipeline is incredible.
Yeah, Jean, it's what happens next. This is a nice stepping stone. We've all been there. We think you guys won it at Loftus. We won it in Argentina. It's what happens next, because there will be a fallout from not every one of those players are going to go through to the next level. So there's got to be a plan. I think there's a plan from SA Rugby side, a pathway. I mean, if Pete, I think he's at the Lions, if he's going to sit there and be third choice scrum off behind, then let the guy go to another union or learn him out where he's going to play and be seen. Because the worst thing that can happen to some of these players is they just disappear. Next thing you hear, the guy's gone to Japan or gone overseas somewhere. So the development plan and how it's going to work. You look at Tlhakane, he's already played a bit of URC. Riley, actually, funny enough, all these guys should be in Curry Cup squads now when they come back.
I was about to say, like, you don't put them back into under-20s. Yes, sure, some
of
them will be. But like Curry Cup now is a development competition by all accounts. Lovely, that from New Zealand.
It was a nice little move.
Lovely little move. But you've got to get them to play, because I think the youth nowadays play too little rugby. If we were younger, we were playing a bulk of under-90s and under-20s club rugby.
Yeah.
A lot of these players now play 6 games a year, maybe. Maybe this is the big thing. It's not enough. You've got to develop players by playing them. And Curry Cup, I think, is the right time for them to play some senior rugby, because often from under-20s to get to, it's hard to do the senior rugby. There's a step up. This was the red card. Harsh, but only 20 minutes. And in the same time with that 20 minutes red card, South Africa a yellow card. So it didn't affect the game much.
So it was 10 minutes more. But again, some similarities in the 2023 World Cup with Sam Cane also going off really hard. So some similarities there. But Scully, you mentioned the Bok DNA also coming through here. 2 minutes into the game, maul try.
Scrum was
Scrum
was strong. really good in the air as well. But then there's an element of the excitement of that back three and the back line, I think, as a whole, and the ability to attack as well.
Yeah, I think it's Malusi who was doing the attack, and he's actually he coached with Franco, if I'm not mistaken, at Currie Cup level, did well with Grecos when they were doing, coach the attack there. So he's got a good pedigree. We just haven't seen a lot of him, and given talent like us, you saw the coaching come through along with Kevin Foote. I think Ackerman did well with the pack there also. Because last year, I remember commentating, these guys were getting scrummed by Italy, mauled by Italy, couldn't stop them all.
I remember.
At Paul Gym when they lost that game. And
in the rain.
Yeah, in the improvement now.
I mean, 3-4 months ago, they were losing.
Yeah.
And
the improvement that's worked there. But for me, I'm more interested to see that these guys come through and you see them playing URC next year and actually coming through. Otherwise, if Sekani is going to go back to under 21 rugby now, what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point? He's too good for that. Pete, we've seen enough. I mean, we know a lot of. I knew him as a schoolboy player.
Like I reckon you can play across whatever, Like you can play, if there's a game for you on the weekend under 20s, you play under 20s.
Yeah.
If the Currie Cup takes preference over the under 20s, go play both. Like we all did it. I mean, play 3 teams in a year.
Yeah.
But they've got their best path to their development.
We are.
Great boot, big boot. Kicked well the whole tournament is by playing, getting minutes. So you can't protect rugby players. I mean, that's done. You've got to put in the hours now to become a better rugby player. Riley Norton, workhorse, like on the weekend, led the tackle stats. But there's so many players with X factor.
I mean, that one wing, is it the right wing?
Yusta.
Yeah.
Yusta and
How
Williams.
quick How quick is he?
No, but I mean, it's the whole back three. And that's what I like about it, because you go back in history and the stats will tell you winning and being successful at under 20 and under 21 level, those players, a big portion of those players goes through to represent the Springboks.
Yeah.
And then they form the nucleus of the teams that have won in 07, in 2019, in 2023.
You've got to ask yourself, it was 13 years for us to get the blueprint right. If you think, always go on about our school rugby and, how well we do at school and best schoolboy rugby league in the world. But surely from there, we can't win it every 13 years.
If 2 years later, can't be, losing to Italy or whatever it is. This is the standard now, and it's got to be consistent, and we've got to maintain it. We saw the French all of a sudden start dominating.
Yes.
England came in with a good run, and you can see some of these kids. I mean, the Tommy Freemans of this world, all those guys coming through.
It was a Southern Hemisphere lockout. It's almost like a senior World Cup with Argentina beating France, I think. It
was a nice try as well.
This was good.
The vision, the execution,
I like that,
and the pace.
The 2 Bishops boys combining.
The fullback also Bishop's boy.
He was at Red Pop.
Yeah.
So I used to watch him as a kid under 12, under 13. He was talented then, but it's good to see him coming through.
Well, it's amazing from a Bishop's point of view. You have these kids, and you have a Sasha, you have like all the other guys in the Stormers setup, youngsters coming through.
Yeah.
It was a good generation for them.
Yeah.
It was also quite a stress-free watch. Often these games have a lot of drama, but the Boks were just too good on the day. They always were in control of this match. So.
But I tell you what, we've also had the SA Schools team and the players that you've got there also. Yeah. It's a good team that. It's a very good team that SA Schools team this year.
We take the old Chris Norton, Norton's dad, celebrating like only he can.
Yeah, he's still celebrating apparently. He hasn't stopped.
That's nice.
The best feeling, boy.
We talk about success and the successes that we've had at the Boks, but to have a pipeline like this, to have a really strong schools team, to have a really strong under 20s team, I mean, it bodes well for the future of South African rugby, not just at the top, but also what's coming through.
Yeah.
You also think 2027, is there any of those players that can maybe put their hands up? I know the Boks squad's strong, but there's some aging players. There's 1 or 2 maybe of our positions you think, where are we got aging players, maybe number 9?
Yeah.
You think, can you get a Hashim Pete in there? I don't know, only time will tell, but there is definitely a pathway for these players who win a World Cup. Your name's already got like a bit of a tick next to it.
Yeah. But I think the opportunity is so nice. Obviously, with us selecting players overseas and other guys, for example, Amani now he's gone to Japan, opens up a gap for another fly half. You've got Jean-Luc Duplessis, obviously Sasha's there, maybe a third guy who comes in outside of him. There are injuries along the way. There's 1 or 2. There's 1 or 2 guys that might leave or retire. But if these guys are doing well, and you give them a chance, carry cup, and then it ticks onto URC, and it happens that quickly with Investec Champions Cup, with this 10-month long season and the rotation coming, it can happen a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Now it can happen a lot quicker.
And you can be wherever in the world and get called. Like,
Well, Makaza went from varsity cup to alignment camp.
yeah, well, Bonfenta.
Yeah, exactly.
Bonfenta went overseas.
Yeah, it could
nice,
happen to anybody.
9 tries scored by the Boks guys on the weekend. I mean, what a debut for these guys.
Yeah, John, it's your thing, partner. Like line-out hookers, they score tries, they score a double. Bonfenta gets, I mean, like the intensity of the Boks was awesome. You know, the only thing that robbed them of that intensity was this error rate. And obviously, you know, still the breakdown, I think. Bonfenta, there you go. That's what you got to do. Stay on top of the ball when you lose it. We got that body type. Just pick straight through the guts.
Dream start.
Best feeling.
Yeah.
Absolute best feeling. And then unfortunately with the Boks now, like set piece is also not what we accustomed to. You know, we'll lose 1 or 2 critical lineouts. Put nothing away from Georgia. They were exceptional at the breakdown. Sia Kolisi got handled a couple of times. Like it was physical as it is.
But yeah, the lineout worked.
That's it, John. There they go. They're taking into Malcolm Mark's slipstream. Fantastic. Scores a double on debut. Beautiful.
And let's also, because we didn't look at the at the start of the game and the way that Georgia started the game.
Yeah.
Not the ideal start for the Boks, and certainly Georgia showed that they are up for it.
Physical like they were charging around the corner, head down, gain lines mine. It was proper.
Yeah, a proper,
Yeah,
proper fight.
Yeah, Cockrell's speech. I mean, I interviewed him before the game.
Yeah.
Listen to what's going to happen. Physicality. You know, what colour is this guy? Physicality.
But we called it last week in the preview. We were like, if there's one thing Cockers will get them,
will bring.
it's like stuff that the Boks have their own way. Mauls, scrums, physicality, breakdown. They're not going to have it for large parts of this game.
And it's sorry, John, it's little things that will give them energy, like that carry in the beginning. Gives Georgia energy. Okay, we're on top of them. Stop them all, you know, do the score a try, give them energy. They just kept, you know, just those little moments kept giving them energy. And you can see, I mean, we sitting there on the sideline and I was watching them at the end of the game. They were quite happy with the performance.
Yeah.
I think they thought they were going to get absolutely rinsed, like 70, 80 points. But to come out like that, they were quite happy. And they had enough possession in the second half to build enough pressure. They just didn't have that X factor to cross over.
And what I spoke to Cockers about actually after the game, and he said just rugby IQ sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, they have the physicality, they have the bravery, all of that, but they need a bit of rugby IQ as well. And that will come over time with the under-20s also doing really well now. Over time, they'll build that. You know, when the game gets too quick for them and the Boks are throwing it all, you know, how do you bring it back? So
with 10 minutes to go, you know, the scoreboard looked very respectful for them. But then obviously we scored some crackers, you know, 3 crackers in the last 8 minutes.
Yeah. But a good outing for Georgia, you know, and you certainly, they certainly stood up on the day.
Yeah,
That's this acceleration.
Yeah, and you can see the Boks trying a couple of things. Even if you have to go back, Sean, to that rack, I mean, the whole plan, obviously, to get to the wide channels with that little soft touches around it.
We had the tip swivel through the pod.
Yeah, through the pod. And then if you go back, let's say, I mean, the Georgia defense here, they mess up because they slide off Williams here. But if you had to go wide again, look at how many Georgians are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 close there. But look at that gap between the defenders there.
Yeah.
That ball goes wide. Look how many players we got out wide there even. And those guys can reload and attack down the same side.
We saw this last week against Italy, that ability just to show the ball, scoot out, get to number 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And then if there's a dog leg, pin your ears back.
And also,
none better.
If they stick, if they stay close, you have the ball out the back to Sasha there.
Sasha.
These guys will be far tight, and you have 3, 4 guys there with
look
6,
Sia
7.
there's still a player outside of Sia also.
Pitstaff's line fixes 2 plays, and then the finish was awesome. Ball off the left.
Yeah, this is a nice touch here.
Yeah, I was like,
Power.
he had 2 guys on him to stay. I would have done ACL, PCL,
and shoulder on the dot down.
He does well, ball in both hands, looking for a good pass here.
And it's the ability to flood through. You know, look, Rianurke doesn't get there by accident. You know, the line break happens. A lot of times, you know, players just caught on your heels, you never get there. But if you see the line break, flood through, stay on top of the ball.
Nokia, he's got an engine.
Yeah, lovely engine.
It's similar to a Peter Steff engine. He just keeps running all day long. And that's why you've got the engine there. He's good enough to get the good soft touches to get it over.
Then again, Manus van der Merwe, another try at the back
the double.
of the maul.
I thought he was going to get a hat trick after. I was like,
Yeah.
he's calling line-out mauls all day long.
Yeah, I thought we might have some tricks for Georgia up there, but I think the plan this weekend is just go straight.
Yeah.
And the punch was good. The setup was nice and clean. We're probably not too happy with that in previous weeks, but you can check that punch is proper. You get it going.
And if you go back there, if you see, look what Earburn does. That's where that maul is won. He wins that race to cover that space at the back. So Georgia, obviously, they're not contesting here, which they changed in the second half and got one or two steals.
goals.
But the maul is always set up by the foundation and the base. So Earburn, look where Earburn goes up, but look how he gets through. Those guys are waiting there. So your ribs, you're vulnerable
guy
there
there.
if they clap you there properly. But look how he gets through that. He wins that space at the back, and then it makes it easier. Then the drivers can start to operate. And the hookers has to be patient. He's still got to shove them, but not break off too early.
Because Georgia there wants to split that seam between Earburn. They want to double time him, split the seam, and then your front of your maul's gone. You get through onto the jumper, you get through to the guys hitting it. But by Earburn winning that race, the set and the punch.
It's also such a fine margin because he goes a split second too early, half a meter forward more, and then it's double banking.
Yeah.
So you need the timing right as well there to get it right. Otherwise, there's a penalty
Yeah,
conceded.
what a lot of teams do while he's lifting, you actually grab his pants and you try to open his hips up.
Yeah, you push him
So
back.
you push his hips up and then you put your head in between there, then you can split.
Most New Zealand teams does the little pre-engage and
Yeah.
they push you off balance before they actually hit you.
Easy work.
Yeah, the hookers get it say.
Shimmies want to make a comeback now. Yeah, big time.
We used to slip it back to the flank, and remember the flank used to
The flank used to score a couple. I scored quite
Yeah.
a few like that actually, boys. Carry by Pitts,
That's what you want from
Yeah.
a blindside flanker.
ball by Grant.
See,
That's a great pass.
I prefer tries like that.
That's a great pass.
But like,
That's an incredible
yeah,
pass.
pit step around the corner, quick ball, which means he gets onto the 12. He absolutely handles him. He
This
doesn't.
guy, he's been good.
He doesn't have a bad try scoring record either.
He's been good.
Edwulf van der Merwe.
I mean, it was a Van der Merwe show at one stage with him and old Manus.
Silky by Damien.
Yeah.
I love the we'll see the front view now. Again, it's so
Silky.
simple. So firstly the setup.
Yeah.
So having these two guys behind the scrum, Georgia has split with 4 of their backs on the left. Obviously,
And
they're
they want
9.
their 9 to
So
fall in.
the mistake that the 9 made is he needs to go there, make it messy for Grant Williams so that he can't get the ball to these guys if they come here. Force them to go that way because then at least they can close down. The fact that he doesn't go here, you have only 2 defenders here for Georgia. You see.
So
10
John,
and
you're saying he
14.
must go at source then on Grant.
Go at source, close him up here, and yes, the 8 can roll into the 9 and then still play the 9
play
this
the
way.
9.
But I think if he closes that option,
All of that buys you time to get on the first defender.
Exactly.
You buy time for your flanker. Your flanker then gets onto Grant, and then you numbered up.
because
But
what happened,
if the 9 comes out a bit, I mean, I'd be in the middle there doing the hard work. If the 9 comes out a bit there, the flank covers the inside, he almost cross covers towards it, so he forced them to cut back there.
the problem here is that check how flat Andre takes it, and
Okay,
so firstly 9 carries, and then he attracts this guy already, and even though Andre doesn't get on the outside of 10, the space that Damien moves in here puts this guy in doubt, because remember,
We've got
Kurt Lee is still on the
Kurt Lee
left
is on
here.
the left wing, yeah.
So you'll see,
There, he's got...
boom. So it's...
Willemse does well there.
Yeah.
No,
It's
no,
actually his
that's
man
brilliant.
on there, yeah.
But that guy can't make a decision quick enough because he doesn't know whether his 10 will get to 100.
If it's coming or not.
So
He
he's
gets caught.
stuck there.
So even if he does, Damien gets the offload away, we score anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that little shimmy.
Nice and easy.
Yeah, it's good.
The flat pass, the ability to move off the ball, and then just the pure strength of the of the players. Then the last 3 tries.
Bench
It's when
was
the champagne
The champagne open.
was popped.
the bench was good. Like
Yeah.
as much as we said the bomb squad didn't do anything in the first or the second test against Italy, they were exceptional. We'll see Erges Snyman with go gadget arm come up. We see Lord de Jager. We see all of them fire up. Quagga.
Quagga's always good.
And again, I just like the options. You can see Andre pointing. But, oh, sorry, what I wanted to show here, I'm just going to go back a little bit. Check this guy.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Cleaning. Wide ruck. Okay? He's on the ground there.
Gets on his
putting in the
bike.
work. One phase. Okay, forwards does their bit. Check now, wide angle, 2 phases. Who pops up?
Yeah.
The same number 14.
Lovely pre-call.
Did he call?
eh?
Was that a pre-call?
Yeah,
Was that
pre-call.
pre-planned? Is it? Or
I don't know
was
if
it
it's
on the
pre-call.
You reckon?
You
Well-
can see if you can see him call it when he gets into that
Yes.
that near side.
Or Edwell calls it?
Yeah,
Or
Edwell
does he?
calls it.
Okay.
It wouldn't have been a set play.
Yeah.
So like obviously Faf won't be able to see it.
Yeah.
You know, because he's left
But
footer,
it's-
his back. So,
yeah.
so Ed will actually, when you just go back to the ruck, you can actually see his mouth going.
Yeah.
So obviously they've got a phase call.
But that's what I love about it is that, yes, it's easy to say, there's space, he scores the tries, it's so easy. But you need the work rate to be there.
Yeah.
And fantastic work. Great execution by Faf as well. I thought Faf
How's
was
this
really
bit
good.
by the Viking, eh? Off we go.
Just keeps going. Boom.
The little chicken wing is lovely. And this was lovely by Grant.
Skilled, best skilled tight forward in world rugby.
No, it's incredible.
Must be.
Yeah, has to be. Has to be.
So brilliant try. I thought, okay, that's it. But no, they had another go. There we see the Viking.
Boom.
The support.
Grant, he
by
does
nine.
so well here because they actually man on and he just waits for that late switch from Kirtley.
And I think the best try of the lot was the last one. So from
the
our,
kickoff, yeah.
This is a couple of phases in
Yeah.
already. We got the turnover, spreading it wide. Our paceman on the end, in the outside channel. Boom!
Go on, look at the acceleration.
Guys, we've got some wingers in our country at the moment.
Also, look at the work they see in the wide channels, getting that nice clean ball.
Vincenzo
Yeah.
with a little try assist. What I like about it, like if we get in behind them, like we went through a phase where the ruck will be static
Yeah.
and it would look exactly the same off the back of that line break. The ruck will
so
have our
fluid.
pod. Now it's fluid. Canan Moody gets it, moves the contact point. All of a sudden, everyone can just run straight on top of the ball and then you play rugby. You're in behind them. You've got your little soft shape that you work into before. But you'll see how quick this ruck is in Canan's recognition that Sia's gone over the top of it. There we go. Ball's available.
Get that ball out into space, yeah.
Exactly.
And then it's just rugby, eh?
I thought Pollard was good also when he came on.
Yeah.
He had a good game when he came on. Him and Faf
Yeah.
sort of controlled things a bit. It looked a bit calmer and more settled when they came on.
Faf was really good when he came on. For
Yeah.
a guy like he was in Siberia last year after the Irish Test matches.
We will now give you our verdict on the game. First, the guys are enjoying the bit of coke there. Actually, now that you are having them, our beer bock competition that Coke is doing.
France
So,
Malherbe.
yeah,
Here we
you
go.
scan the code.
At
You can
Kevin
be a
Akanya,
bock
we're in
as
the
well.
front row here, but
Collect all the cans. The top 20 Springbok players currently with their names on the can. So nice collectible. And then you can also be a bock. Gents, we buy moment of the week. Who will we go for? It doesn't have to be an individual. It can be a try, a moment.
I like the Ken and Moody try. Grant Williams back
Yeah.
there. Because
Yeah,
Mokia also, he got man of the match, the ability just to link there, that extra pass and the awareness, not to...
off the back of Grant
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
scooting from the base.
Yeah, because he could just go to ground there.
Go to ground or- yeah.
Fussy cleans and
Yes.
whatever, but he actually makes the pass to Fussy. He makes another additional 5 meters and that. Yeah.
It's either that one or the last try.
Yeah.
We'll go with that one because we even got some reaction out of Rassie. Normally he's like quite, he just sits there.
Ken and Moody, the power, yeah.
Yeah, he got a little bit animated. So yeah, I love that one.
I don't mind that. Look, another option would be the Faf kick to Edwell.
Yeah.
Faf playing on his
pop
home
over the top.
ground. It's quite nice there. Obviously, coming from that.
No, we
area.
stick to the first one.
So
Okay,
you're
stick to the
just
first
going to
one.
give us 72 options or.
No, we stick to the first one.
No, stick to the first one.
First one.
Decisions
It's a
made.
discussion. Gee,
Canan Moody
Why are
try.
you shouting?
I'm not shouting.
Okay, Caden Moody try will be our We Buy moment of the week. Shimmy, can you please give us your verdict of this game? Out of 10, what will we give the Bok performance?
Look, the handling, a lot of individual areas, I thought.
Yeah.
What was 9 tries scored? I'd probably go a 7 out of 10. 6.5, 7 out of 10 for me. I thought if you look at the, I mean, obviously we were there, and you could see the reaction of the Springbok players. There was a bit there where almost upset, like shucks, we it's not the performance. I mean, chatting to Rassie before, he said, listen, we're not trying to match these guys physically. We had to hurt them and dominate. We only saw that towards the end. So I'd go 6.5, 7.
Yeah, I think like our intent was amazing in the start, and then we lost our way. And the reasons breakdown again. Like they kept us very occupied at the breakdown.
Apparently there was a rather hard conversation at half-time.
I can imagine.
But it's
individual errors that robs you of that energy and intent that you showed. And then again, like certain mechanical stuff that we take for granted, like the line-out wasn't perfect. So, yeah, like I would say, like energy was 8, skill execution was 6.5. So I'll probably come to where Shem is, like at a 7.
Yeah.
And then you look, by the end, we scored 56 points. You can't say it was a poor performance because, like that intensity and desire from the kickoff on the 80th minute to go score a try of the season. I mean, I absolutely love that about the Boks. You're not just kicking it out and you're happy with 46, you go score 50 points.
Yeah, it was always going to be one of those games. If Georgia run us close, we're always going to win the test. It was going to be the performance that's going to, sort of decide, what comes out of this game. And you're right, Schalk, what you're saying about the performance, there was a bit of unhappiness within the camp in terms of post-match. Like, we didn't really achieve our objective or what we wanted to do. So that's probably the one thing. We got the result. We're never not going to get the result. It's just the performance was going to be the most important thing.
What you judge on, And I suppose in terms of the whole series, Castle Lager incoming series, that was kind of the thread throughout.
Yeah.
That these two teams in these 3 test matches, they were competing at breakdown. They were making it tough for us at breakdown, and maybe sometimes towards the negative side of it. But it'll only stand us in good stead going into the Rugby Championship, being able to clean up that area, because if we get it right, and then the skill set that we've got in those outside channels, we'll be pretty good.
Yeah, the breakdown for me is quite a weird one, because it's almost like we're losing a race quite a couple of times. We're a bit late towards a clean. I don't know whether, you've got RKS Neyman in front of you. What are you going to run a support line because you think he's going to offload? Next thing, they make a good tackle, they're over the ball. You think the guy's going to dominate contact and get the pass away. Where sometimes the natural instinct is to actually get there and clean. And if you're in a good position, he'll pop the ball to you. One or two times we lost.
When we were one pass ruck, we were so regimented in our structure that there was always cleaners. You always won that race. Now we're a bit more fluid. And you're getting those half breaks. And whenever you have that half break because of a nice tip or a good line or offload or someone scoots off the base of the ruck, that's where the jackal, you land at his feet. You sort of run through the first tackler, and that's where your reaction's got to be so much better. And you've got to stay, by staying on top of the ball, you've just basically, we all played momentum touch. Where you just stay on top of the ball. You're the first man there, you get the offload. That first man's target, one, has got to be way better. You've actually got to shift bodies, because so many times it becomes a wrestling match where you wrestling with these hips. You've got to target soft spots like arms, but you can only do that if you get there first. And I think the Boks have just been lacking. They've been too reactional to it.
But it's the balance between running into space as a support player and then making that decision. Rather to go for the clean.
It's a very easy fix.
Thank you, Mr. Coach.
Thank you.
Any
more wisdom?
So we went with a Betway bet winner for a victory of 56 points for the Springboks to be in the money last week. We got it wrong.
We scored 50. How many?
We scored 55.
Scored 55, so one short, but they also scored 10.
So we had to win by 56 points.
We got to get Osterrand.
A couple of kicks. We got to get a couple of kicks and we fine.
I think we've got to get Osterrand in set every week. I think he's better at this than we are.
Well, the second bet that we had last week was the 42.5 winning margin handicap, which would have put us in the money. So we just need to make better decisions.
We're just not good at this.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're not good at it. I mean...
Don't tell me.
I can get better.
We can get better.
Okay, guys, the other game on the weekend... before we get to that, squad's going to be trimmed to 36. Do we see big omissions, big names being omitted from that squad?
How many hookers are there in a squad of 36?
Look, there'll be Bongi,
3. You've got to have
Malcolm,
3
definitely.
Specialist.
Well, there's 3. There's 3. Jan Hendrik.
Vessels.
Jan Hendrik, depending on where they see him. Gerard Steenekamp.
Yeah, is he back yet?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
You know, I saw him not on the ball. He'll come back somewhere along the line. So it depends on that. Locks, I think we're pretty settled at the moment.
Plenty, yeah.
But also remember, Franco the versatility. Ruan's covered 7.
Yeah.
Franco's covered 7. Eben, the 4s, Archia, Lurt.
So
there's going to be a cut there.
Salman, Ruan.
Yeah, one of the someone's.
I think
losing
Kobus
out
moves to loose forward now. He moves out the lock mix into loose forward mix.
there. Yes.
Does that mean Vincent Chatuka misses out?
Oh, there's Evan Rus still.
Yeah.
Chituka, Evan Rus.
So that's
And
always
Staden's
where
still
the call comes, is at the loose forward. Because like someone gets picked to do both. You know, Pitstef can easily cover lock if he has to.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
true,
Like,
yeah.
So I think a specialist flanker will lose its position. And then up front, I think, you know, maybe the front row of the weekend.
Yeah, that is going to be.
Yeah.
You just don't see it because you got Thomas,
Yes.
one of the incumbents.
Buon Venter.
I think
Martinez.
Juan Venter probably misses out
Yeah.
because of the versatility of Jan-Hendrik Wessels, and then if you've got Ox and you've got Thomas who goes both sides. I think Neethling probably still makes it because of his being a specialist tight head,
Tight head.
Yeah.
along with Wilco
And Thomas.
and Thomas.
And between the scrum halves, someone misses out there.
See,
Grant is definitely in.
So you got Grant, you got Morne,
you've got Faf, you've got Kobus. It's a
So like,
Hey, look,
remember
we took 4 to the World Cup.
4 to the World Cup, and we got to the final, we picked 1. So
I think Edwell makes it this time.
yeah, I would hate to see him not make it.
Yeah, to be.
You know?
Geez, the guys played well. I mean, Edwell.
But it also depends. What split do they
what
go
the split? Yeah, I mean,
for? Is
Look,
it
Jesse
20,
Damien
60?
definitely will make it.
does a fullback miss out? So if you go Willie Apelele Fassi,
I think a fullback misses out.
Damien Willems,
But Sasha can cover fullback.
Sasha
also.
can cover fullback. So
They
then
played him there.
you know.
Willemson can cover flower, centre, and
fullback.
fullback.
Fassi
Because
goes
you've
9.
got to feel. I think that Marnie for certain games is our 10, like as our best attacking 10.
Yeah.
Then you've got Andre Pollard and you've got Sasha. So then a fullback or outside back misses out then.
Yeah.
No, because if you go back to the front end, specialists, it's tight edge. Wilco,
Talking about the
Neethling,
fullbacks, yes, let's.
Tabakanya is still there. So obviously, Neethling,
Tabakanya's
Tabakanya is
still
still there. So one of them falls. One of the tight heads falls out. Jan-Hendrik Wessels, he's versatile, so you can use him
he's
as a hook.
definitely in.
Yeah, but then you can have a hook. Then a hooker could fall out,
Yeah. So then
which will be Marnus.
Marnus.
Yeah, Marnus
Marnus
would
falls
fall out, for example. Loose head, Ox is definitely there. Jan-Hendrik could be there. That's it. So that's the front row,
Why are we
basically.
talking about tight forwards again?
Because you guys are going backline. No, that's like they're saying, no, we took a...
Where the most people miss out when it comes like to a squad
Loose
selection
forwards.
is locks and loose forwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, by the time we go live, I think the squad would have been announced already, so we might just get it totally wrong.
Yeah.
We normally do.
We do. Who knows what's going on?
In your guys, John, in your opinion, what was the best Springbok performance, the last 3?
That's a good question.
I would say
Second
Gqeberha,
test?
second test.
Yeah.
I also think the second
14
test.
men,
Yeah.
45-0.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Second test.
Think back. Second test.
yeah, big time.
Yeah, that one, then the Georgia, and then Italy first test match.
Yeah.
It was a nice little wake-up call. for them.
Good against the Barbarians.
Yeah.
Talking about wake-up calls, the ABs versus France, third test match in Hamilton. They won it, the series 3-0 eventually, but under a bit of pressure at some stage. Behind at half-time.
I'll tell you one thing with New Zealand. I've never seen a team get held up over the line and so many disallowed tries in a series ever. You think about it the first test? It was 3 when they kept going back to the team. Then they got it right the second test. This test, they got over the line, I think I think close to 5 times, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, held up.
Goal line dropout.
Yeah.
That turns around, then it's a completely different series.
Like in that first half, just too many errors in their own half, not having the ability to exit. Like they made some changes, DMAC was playing, but like Sevilla carries it off the 5 meters, tries a chip kick through to Will Jordan. It's not on. You're not playing rugby in your own half. So I think for them, it's still that balance of, they come up against the Boks who will play a bit of a territory game against them, put them under pressure. Can they exit 20 times? Yeah. Yes or no? I think that, because you want to have, with Razor, you want to have his style and, that ambition. He wants to free the players up, but then you also got to play to a certain structure to exit. How do you exit? You know, how does your kicking game fit into part of your transition rugby? And I think, like for me in that first half, they just were poor at exiting, which gave France, like some of those French players fronted up. Like he plays Lock-Filion, Gouliard, I think his name is, played eightsman. What are you, 25 carries? Straight through the guts, like big beast of the man. Loved seeing that.
What we do know, the All Blacks versus South Africa in New Zealand in over a month's time will be a totally different game.
Yeah.
That is going to be huge. I think they've been able to blood some youngsters and create some depth within their squad, but that's going to be a tough one for the Boks. The strategy will be different, and certainly also when the Boks face the Frenchies in November,
it's going to be a different French team.
Well, it's a different side we're playing against.
It's going to be huge.
The All Blacks have tried to supersize their pack. Tupa, Vayat, blindside flanker. Holland's coming in. Every line-out ball goes to Holland.
To Pelotu, he was good again.
Yeah, so they've got depth. I mean, Tamadi Williams comes back at Lucette Prop de Grit.
Tokyo got a start this weekend.
Yeah, Fletcher, Taro Lomax, Takiaho. So they've got, I think, a solid tight five. And Scala's right. The French had them with that long kicking game in the first test. You force them to run out of trouble. Whether the kicking game is good enough is a different. David Avili, funny enough, for the Crusaders, when they won Cherry, he was almost like a second, because he's covered fly-off. He'd help the young fly-off and kick, and every time they'd win the territory game. But against the Springbok team, if you're going to give the Boks line-out off the line-out and let them come for you with the attack we've got and the options and the power we've got, I think they'll be in trouble. They need to sort out their kicking.
Guys, that's it.
Thank you very much, Sean.
Well done, John. Good series. Good beginning of the year.
We've got a small little break coming up.
We've got a bit of a break, so you can catch us again on the verdict after the first test match between South Africa and Australia in Joburg. So that will be the 19th of August, I think. We will be live with the verdict again. Boks Unpacked also you can catch again before that test match. We might sneak in another episode before that, but for now...
Special guest.
Yeah, very special guest. But for now, we're going to be on a bit of a break. Thanks for joining us. If you are watching digitally, please do subscribe to our channel for all the content that we will be sharing. And if you are watching on SuperSport, you can obviously watch all the test matches live on your channel of champions. And for 30 years, SuperSport has been bringing the champions to you. These champs need to leave now. Goodbye.
Thanks, Johnny Cohen.